Hello, delegates. Happy Independence Day. Being together in person, Becky, for the first time in 3 years is just incredible. It fills me with pure joy and gratitude. Gratitude for our 3 million members, gratitude for you, our over 6,000 delegates, for our incredible officers, executive committee, and board of directors. And I'm also incredibly proud and grateful for all of our talented, dedicated, brilliant staff. Delegates, your union has the best staff in the labor movement. And of course, gratitude for our magnificent president, Becky Pringle. I have never met another leader who stands so forcefully in purpose and passion to change the world for our students. Madam President, thank you for leading with your whole self. You are so powerful and smart and thoughtful and inspiring. Your leadership is so important. Thank you for calling on each of us to heal and to teach and to lead with everything within us and within our beloved union. Delegates, on this 4th of July, I find myself again reflecting upon the inextricable link between public education and our democracy and our freedom. American self-governance has always been premised in part on the principle John Stuart Mill captured so well in his famous essay on liberty. Mill articulated the precious balance on which so many other principles rest, that any human being should be able to do as they desire, so long as the exercise of that liberty does not infringe upon the liberty of another. The other day, I reread the Declaration of Independence, all of it. From its beautiful but incomplete assertion that all men are created equal, endowed with certain unalienable rights such as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, to its acknowledgement that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to those ends, it's the people who have the right to alter their government. Now, I revere the humble brilliance of that acknowledgement, that the people have as much right to establish their government as they have to change it through a peaceful process we call democracy. At the same time, it makes me or you no less patriotic to acknowledge that the drafters of that declaration and our glorious Constitution did not have all of us in mind when they used the word all. But over time, we've continued to learn. And as educators know, as you learn, you progress. That learning is made possible by the combination of public education together with the First Amendment that allows free expression and that buoys a free and independent press. It is the institution of public education that equips us with the knowledge to engage in civil discourse, to debate the issues of our time, and to understand the lessons of our past. Our children, our students, they know that the American experiment is supposed to embody a learning journey like the ones you foster every day in America's classrooms and on our campuses. President Pringle spoke eloquently yesterday about all the students and educators she met across the country. You just saw that glorious video. She saw your indefatigable hopes and dreams of the promise of a fully supported, equitable, excellent, safe public education. Whenever Becky would come back from visiting you, she would call me and she would like scream into the phone, "Oh my God, you'll never believe what I experienced." She was over the moon with energy and joy and admiration for your resilience and your brilliance. Delegates, as a parent, I have no earthly idea how you do it all. I have no idea how the boundless love just keeps spilling out of you to calm and reassure and inspire and excite the nation's students. Many of you have told me that your fuel comes from the dreams and potential you see in your students. You can see the aspirations they have for their own lives and the freedom they're demanding in the society they will one day lead. They are fighting for freedom. The freedom to love who you love proudly. The freedom to read any damn books you want to. The freedom to choose when to start a family or whether to start a family at all. The freedom to be safe in every school, in every neighborhood. The freedom to worship or not. The freedom to be heard in the workplace and at the ballot box. The freedom to be healthy. The freedom to be happy. The freedom to simply be. Delegates, the demands of our students represent the progress that we must continue to make, the progress to make us, the United States, a more perfect union. That's why they're organizing and marching and posting and emailing and yelling, and so are we. They see what's happening, and so do we. Delegates, I submit to you that we've never faced this complex a set of ideological factions and movements in our union's history. Since 1983, we've faced the privatization movement that seeks to turn free, universally accessible, high-quality public schools into centers for profit. We have faced the so-called education reform movement, in which we've seen the flawed theory that if you simply create enough privately run, unaccountable charter schools, and you weaken the voice of educators, and you ignore the racial and social inequities in education, finance, and policy, that somehow the entire system is going to magically be jolted into some fictitious education utopia. We've seen the rise of authoritarianism in this country since the election of 2016. We've seen the concerted efforts to delegitimize the free press, set up an alternative social media world in which Americans are fed with a constant diet of misinformation, and social media platforms that profit from it and are not held accountable. We have seen one of our major political parties in the United States be completely hijacked by a socio-political movement. The MAGA movement inspired over 2,000 people to illegally, criminally attack the US Capitol in an effort to overturn the election results of 2020. Our election results. And now, given the decisions handed down by the Supreme Court in the last 2 weeks, it appears we face a judicially imposed theocracy. President Pringle cited several of those cases yesterday. NEA, our highest court in the land, just took a sledgehammer to the principle of separation of church and state in both the voucher and school prayer cases. The court made everyone who is able to give birth feel like second-class citizens. Anybody watch Handmaid's Tale? Art imitating life. And worse yet, because the court eviscerated our right to privacy, it has now set the stage for challenging the right to obtain contraception, the right to be intimate with whom we love, the right to marry someone of a different race, the right to marry someone of the same sex. I hope, delegates, I hope that none of us will be shy about sharing the following indictment. This Supreme Court and significant numbers of radicalized elected officials have walked away from freedom and justice for all toward an extreme, controlling, discriminatory, exclusionary, misogynistic, homophobic, out-of-touch, racist, cruel, corrupt ideology. Corrupt! But delegates, as President Pringle reminded us yesterday, we are NEA. Whether it's Frederick Douglass or Paulo Freire or Audre Lorde, we hear in our ears, we know this. Despair is used as a tool to oppress, to suppress the rights of the people, to stifle dissent in the face of injustice, to sow division among the masses and undermine our collective ability to rise up together. Those who attempt to take away our freedom do so in order to accumulate more wealth or more power or both for themselves. They want us to feel hopeless. They want us to feel defeated. This tired, age-old formula has manifested itself in senseless discriminatory laws that make it easier to buy a gun than cast a vote. And it's these same people passing laws that censor educators from teaching the truth and honoring the authentic, beautiful identities of all of our students. Delegates, the importance of public education, and more importantly, you, the nation's educators, has never been more evident or urgent. Throughout history, especially in times of deep division, public schools bring together people from all walks of life. In times of great uncertainty, our public schools provide stability and comfort to students in every zip code. As our mental and physical health is at risk, public schools provide critical services to entire communities. And as the world economy changes rapidly, our higher education institutions provide the skills not only to help students find their passions, but help lifelong learners become equipped for their next professional chapters. In this time filled with darkness, public education and educators bring light. In this time filled with despair, public education and educators bring hope. If there's one thing that brings parents and communities together right now, it's public education, and we have seen this firsthand. Educators, together with students and parents, are once again taking the lead. In Wisconsin, WEAC and the Wisconsin Public Education Network asked voters to approve bond referendum funding for public schools all across the state with a very simple but fundamental idea. Public schools unite us. And they won big time, didn't you, WEAC? In New York, where are you, New York? NYSED supported bipartisan slates of pro-public education school board candidates who ran on that same idea. And NYSED beat back extremist anti-public education school board candidates across the state. 86% of the candidates NYSED endorsed, including, Madam President, lots of our own members, won. In Indiana, ISTA helped build a broad-based coalition of over 200 organizations demanding that our students deserve to learn the truth. ISTA's fight shows us that no matter where you live, whether you're in a red state or purple state or blue state, Americans across race, space, income, and background can come together to open the doors of learning wider for all students. And in Delaware and California, CTA and DSCA members led the way to pass groundbreaking gun violence prevention laws that their governors just signed this week. Yeah, California, I see you. Madam President, I'm proud to report that affiliates across this country have stood up and won some of the largest increases in professional compensation, rights, and support we've achieved in decades for all educators. We beat back challenges to payroll deduction in Florida and Kentucky and Montana. We beat back vouchers in Iowa and Oklahoma and South Carolina. Educators and community members stood together on the strike lines from Minneapolis to Oakland, fighting for more mental health supports for students, better pay for all educators, and fighting for racial and social justice for everyone. And delegates, last year, Vice President Moss and I told you about the right that was restored in Virginia, our own home state, Commonwealth of Virginia, to collectively bargain. Well, President Fetterman, you didn't waste any time, did you? You didn't waste any time. VEA is working with locals across the state to achieve recognition like the Richmond Education Association and win the right to bargain for the support our students and educators deserve. Let me end here. I made a trip of my own. A few months ago, I had the opportunity to travel to Kansas. Speak up, Kansas. I see you, Sherry. The Kansas NEA launched a student expression campaign called Just Imagine Justice. KNEA asked students this question: what does justice look like? They asked high school students to speak their truth through visual art, through spoken word, through music, and the response was incredible and powerful. Students poured their hearts onto the page, imagining a better world for all of us. One student designed art. It was designed to bring awareness to the hate that the Asian American communities have faced in the wake of the pandemic. Another student painted an unhoused veteran smiling at a little girl, and a reminder in the student artist's voice says hope can be found in the smallest of instances. The words in another student's piece speak for themselves. I see my face in yours. I see my face in yours. Educators, I know you see your face in theirs too. Every day, students walk into classrooms with every manner of hope and hardship, and no matter who they are or where they come from, you teach them, you love them, you fight for their freedom to learn and your freedom to teach. You fight for all of us. You are joining our students as freedom fighters. So tell me, delegates, what do freedom fighters do? You read books, you don't ban them. You teach the truth about our history, you don't deny it.